Hi everyone, Bruno from RVing TV, and today's video is going to be on the Demco Autoslide. Back when we did our 2019 Sierra 2500 review, I gave you a quick glimpse at the Demco Autoslide and mentioned that it was going to be our fifth wheel of choice for pulling our Denali. So I thought we'd take a closer look at the Demco Autoslide because it is a great unit. So as we pivot around, flip the camera around, and here we go. I'm just going to watch. I'm standing on the edge of the bed. Here is our Demco Autoslide. You'll notice it sits nice and flush. We have gone with an undermount bed kit. That just leaves that there's no rails, because normally with most fifth wheels you'd see rails coming out right over here and over here, and if you wanted to use the bed down the road, you needed to get some lumber, you needed to get drywall. You know, you can scrape up that gear, putting furniture in the back of your truck, you can scrape it up. With the underbed mount kits, and this is available for a lot of fifth wheels out there, it keeps it nice and clean. You can pull the fifth wheel out and you're left with 4 holes. We have a little treat for you later in this video. We're actually going to take this fifth wheel out, show you the underside of it and what the holes in the bed for the undermount kit look like. So let's talk a little bit deeper about this. Now this is, as you'll notice here, the 21,000 pound fifth wheel. This is a very heavy duty fifth wheel. They do have it in a couple other ratings from 13,000 pounds and up. We decided for the cost, we just went with the large fifth wheel because this truck has a large towing capacity, and that way you're never limited if we ever chose to go to a larger fifth wheel. Now what's nice with the Autoslide, and what I'll try to do is put in a quick snippet from Demco's website, as it's like -20 to -30 these days here in Ontario, so I can't really show you a demo of this in action. It's not very comfortable to do it. We'll take a snippet from Demco's video and insert it in here so that you'll be able to see what it looks like. Basically what happens is when your fifth wheel is hooked up, this head will slide in this channel, and when we turn it over you'll get a better idea, but this bracket support here will go left or right based on the pressure and the movement, allowing the head to actually slide back. That way when you're making maneuvers, it's going to stay away from that rear wind. And this is important in a 6.5 foot box. Now this cannot be used in a 5.5. You're going to need a different setup, more specialized, and realistically that's for much smaller fifth wheels, because that's going to be in a 1/2 ton pickup, not in a 3/4 ton. In the 3/4, the 1 tons, you're going to either have a 6.5 foot box as we have, or a full 8 foot box. With an 8 foot box, you don't need an Autoslide because you'll never get close to that rear window. Now let's talk about a couple other great features on this Autoslide. So you'll notice the head here pivots front and back. That just gives you a little more flexibility when you're hooking up, just because if you're ever off level, etc. What you'll also notice is there is some side to side pivot. And again, that's just handy. I hope it's showing for you. There we go. That's probably a little better to show you. There's a couple of degrees side to side. So again, you're not on nice smooth terrain. You unhooked a little uneven. You've got a little bit of room to play. Now you're going to notice these brackets here. Those brackets are so that when your fifth wheel pin is locked in place, it's actually holding it. Because normally when your fifth wheel would come in to, or your pin on your fifth wheel would come into your hitch, when you turn, it would actually turn. So what will happen now is the plate of the fifth wheel will come in here and will be held by these supports, so that when you go to turn, it's actually going to cause the head to turn and rotate, and that, whoops, sorry, we'll edit that out. So when you go to turn, it's going to cause the head to pivot and move along the channel here. So you're going to set these just to be a hairline. I believe the spec is 1/8 of an inch, but you know, check Demco's install instructions, and it's just a hairline off of where it should be. Now, what I do like is when you look at the jaws, it's a wraparound jaw. Normally in here, you'd have a jaw that comes together in the center. And there have been occasions where you get a little bit stuck, you put a little bit of too much pressure pulling the trailer, and all of a sudden the clasp opens up and your fifth wheel drops out and drops onto your bed. Very nasty situation. You'll notice this jaw wraps around and is really heavy duty. Now there's a pin here for security, so when you've locked it in place, you put it in, you lock it, and that way no one could pull your handle on that. So we're going to pull that up, and you'll notice when I open, you'll see how the jaw opens, and it's literally like a double jaw. So you pop that open, there you go. What'll happen now is you'd pull your fifth wheel, or well, you'd pull your truck back into your fifth wheel, and then it'll cause those jaws to release. I can't do it single-handed, but it would pop in and then release. Now for safety, this drops into the bed, and there's little handles here. I'll try to give you a look. You'll see there's 2 handles on each side that fold in, locking the fifth wheel into the rails, and then there's a couple of pins here that keep the handles from being able to swing out and unlock that fifth wheel. But it is very heavy duty, very easy to install. I actually did the installation here, and it was easy enough to be able to do, just takes a little bit of time. So we're going to stop the video now. We'll flip the unit over, we'll take it out, flip it over, and give you a view of the underside, so hopefully that'll give you a better understanding of its inner workings. Okay, so we have pulled the Autoslide out and turned it over so that you can take a look at a couple of features. First of all, we've gone with an underbed mount kit. So very much like the GM kit that you would get if you pre-ordered your truck. This is what it would look like. So we did drill through the bed. You can see the plates mounted underneath, and there are inserts so that if we pull the fifth wheel hitch out, whether it's because we sold the truck or we want to go and get some gear, we can put inserts in here, and the bed is nice and clean, just as if it was stock. Now the other items that we'll show you, so you can see the legs here that drop into the mounting plate. Very straightforward and easy, but the real key is underneath. So you're going to see this geared mechanism that slides back and forth, and here's the pivoting, I'm going to say pivoting ball, but really it's a bearing, okay? And you'll see that as you maneuver, it's going to be pushed left or right, which is going to allow that head to swing back and actually come back away from your back window, so that you have clearance for making turns. So we've applied some grease to the teeth so that the first time we use it, there's going to be some grease meshing in there, and it's just a great system overall. And you can see how heavy duty Demco has manufactured their hitch. Now ignore the wood. I've done that as a safety because this is a very heavy hitch and I didn't want to take a chance that it might tumble over while we're filming this. Okay, now that you've seen the underside of the hitch, we've flipped her back over, and I figured I'd show you how you simply lock this down. So we've dropped the supports down into the holes. You want to make sure that they're dropped in nice and deep. You turn your arms here. I always like to give it a good pull. We're going to do the same on this side. So that just turns in like that. We grab this handle, flip it in, and it should all be locked in. Now I like to grab, lift it up, make sure that we're good, and then what we do is we'll insert the 4 pins and lock the handles in place. And again, just a final look at the hitch itself and how, we'll zoom it out, and how it sits right on the deck bed and just sits right in the fifth wheel, or in the box of the truck, so that you've got this really great fifth wheel. So that's the Demco Autoslide, and this was the 21,000, which is a very heavy one, but they do have a couple of different weight ratings. You don't have to go this heavy, and that's basically it. If you like the video, please click the like button. Please subscribe. We're trying to break the 10,000 subscriber mark. And feel free to provide any comments on the video itself. We look forward to hearing from you. Take care.